So as usual, please open today's contents. So today's topic is array. So actual content as shown here. So again, I'd like to provide a homework, second homework report contents. Okay. And after that, I introduced about the array of C programming languages, as shown here. So the problem that I want you to make a program in C program is a iteration, loop, and array. Okay. So today's lecture content is also important for this report. Okay. So as usual, I provide several programs. You can choose one of them. Okay. And submission is also same. Please attach your source program to your mail and send me. Okay. So also a screen capture image of your program execution results. Okay. So deadline is 26th. You have 2 weeks. Okay. So here I'd like to introduce a program for report. So first program is output prime numbers. Okay. So I limit the number up to 100. Okay. So please make a program that outputs a prime number like this. So, so these are correct prime numbers between 2 to less than 100. So of course, you can make a program using a printf function to output this result. So, however, please try to make a program. That program calculates any algorithm to solve the prime numbers. Okay. So famous algorithm exists. The Eratosthenes series. It's a very famous Eratosthenes Furui is a very famous algorithm. So if you don't know the detail of this algorithm, so you can also find any information actual algorithm on the web. So please try to find such algorithm. Anyway, even if you don't use this algorithm, the prime number, solve the prime number is not so difficult problem. So anyway, please try to make a program. Okay. And second program is calculate the average and total number and the maximum, minimum, and standard deviation of several input numbers. So once this program accepts several numbers by keyboard input from you, and this program calculates these values: average, total, maximum, minimum, and standard deviation. Okay. So today's content about arrays. I also introduced the standard deviation, how to calculate standard deviation. Okay. So third program is as shown here, solve the number of days since today till a given date. So of course, the given date should be the someday in the near future. Okay. Fourth program is one of the search programs. So already, this program has 10 data. Such data are stored in the arrays. Each size is 10. Okay. So this program also accepts one data. Okay. Okay, so this program find the given data if whether given data is matched to the stored data. Okay, so this is a very not difficult, very simple program. Using the 4 sentences, you can find this program. And the 5th program is a sort program. So the end of this today's lecture, I introduced one of the sorting algorithms, bubble sort algorithm. Using such sort algorithm, please try to make this program. So initially, this program has this data. 5 students score. Okay. So this program sort this original data into this sorted data. Okay, in descending order. Okay. So anyway, if you have any question about this program, so if you have any questions, please contact me by email. Okay. In here, I'd like to start today's content about arrays. Okay. So this should show why the array is necessary in your programs. So this is one example, one problem to solve to be solved using programs. Requirement is display score data of 10,000 persons. So it's also a big number of the person. So this program, I want to collect all data about 10,000 persons into variables. So of course, normally you can define the variables as integer values if this data should be if this data is integers like this d1, d2, d3 until d 10,000. Get totally 10,000 variables. So theoretically, this is possible. However, practically impossible. Okay, as you understand. In these cases, array is very useful, convenient. Okay. So only this definition, integer type data as array, its size is 10,000. Only these declarations. These variables are treated as this. Okay. So declaration of array variables. The place for the declaration is the same as standard variables. Its form is as shown here. So using the type symbol, you can define the type of the variables. And here, you specify the variable name. And inside the bracket, you have to define the size of elements. So as shown here, array name is also the same manner as standard variables. For example, the initial letter must be alphabet, and some symbols are not allowed. And decimal digit can be included. Okay? And as shown here, you have to also specify the type of the variable using a type symbol. This should show the image about the arrays inside the physical memories. If you define this array last day, and this size is 13, variable type is integers. Okay? In these cases, in the physical memory of your computers, these boxes are prepared. Okay? So as shown here, each box has an index, integer. In this case, the size is 13. So index it starts from 0 to 12. Okay, and you can specify the location of the elements using this index numbers, integer numbers. So this is the substitution examples. Using the integer 1 as the index of these variables, array variables. You can enter 13 integer values using this substitution sentences. Actually, in this case, the variable of this position, a value of this variable has a 13. Okay? This is a sample example about how to substitute or how to refer to the arrays. So in this case, last day is a array variables, and each size is 13. And using substitution sentences, you can set each values into the corresponding variable of array variables. So in fact, last day means the total number of each month. So 1 means January, 2 means February. So January has 31 days, and February has usually 28 days. And so this substitution is completely the same as that of the standard variable. Okay? And to refer, so as I already explained, by specifying the index, the location, using the index numbers, you can refer the value of the variables, corresponding variables. So for example, in this case, using printf function, this program output this string month equal d correspond to this month. For example, month is 1. So this corresponds to January. So January has some days. So some means last day month is 1. So this value is correspond. Okay. So in this case, this program output the month equal 1 has 31 days. And so today's lecture, I introduce several actual program, example program using the arrays. So this is one of the such programs. This program calculates the company sales. Okay, so this company has 2 branches. So before calculating the total salary, total sales, each branch has a individual sales for each month. So in this case, 0, 1, 2 means January, February, March. So this program should calculate these values, okay, separately by adding these value and these value and these value. Okay. So program as shown here. The complete program is as shown here. So these 2 lines are declaration for variables, array variables. And this is the initial settings. So there are 2 branches, branch A and branch B. And 0, 1, 2 means January, February, March. And so this sentence means the January sales of company A is 100,000 yen or dollars. Okay. So these 3 lines, you can define the sales of 2 branches for January to March. And using these 4 sentences, you can calculate the total sales of this company for each month. Okay, by using the month variable as a index for the month. Okay, so using this substitution sentence, you can calculate the total sales of a company of each month. And finally, this program outputs company sales, total sales, separately for each month. The important point is that this. So finally, this program outputs this string months. Some months is a sales is some yen. So this corresponds to the months. Okay. So however, actual value is months plus 1. So because that's maybe, as you can understand, in this case 0 corresponds to January, 1 corresponds to February. So because they usually because the index should be start at 0. Okay. So actually these 3 values correspond to 3 months. However, the actual month should be added by 1. Okay. This is a second example program using the array data, array variables. So this program solves the average and standard deviation of some data like this. So in this case, data size is 10. So each data is treated as scores. Okay. So first column is the student number. So first student has 68 scores. Okay, like this. And using this data, this program have to calculate the average and standard deviation. Okay. So once you have to store these data into array variables like this. Okay. So this should show the mathematical explanation of how to calculate the average and the standard deviation. So first, no. Actually, this program, I take a mistake. Actually, this program should calculate the deviation and average. Okay. So to calculate the deviations, before that you have to once calculate the standard deviation. Okay. So moreover, to calculate standard deviation, you have to also calculate the average before that. Okay. So average is expression is very simple. So once you have to calculate sum of the all scores and divided by the total number of scores, then you can obtain the average. Okay. And standard deviation is the expression is as shown here. And inside the square root, you have to calculate sum of each score minus average divided by 2. Okay, for all scores. and divided by the total number of score. And you have to calculate the square root of that value. Okay? Such result is a standard deviation. So more simple form for average is here. So using a sigma symbol. So if you find the sigma symbol, usually you can make a program for that using the 4 sentences like this. Okay? So I is a loop counter, treated as a loop counter. So in the program, I is also treated as a loop counter for 4 sentences. So what is treated as a variable for store the temporal values of the total values. Okay? And inside the square root, you can also find the sigma symbols here. So this also, for this, you can also make a program like this using 4 sentences. So almost the same. Easily you can imagine. Okay. So this is the actual program to solve the average and deviation of several data, like score data of students. So in this case, score data is defined as statically defined. So as I explained, array index should be started with 1, no 0. So in this case, the value of the first place of the array becomes 0. And actually, this is not used. For simplify the program, so in this program, actually you can use index start with 1 because the first position of the array value is not used, ignored. So this is in fact, this is a stranger because this case is the size of the element is not declared. So however, the compiler can understand how many elements exist because statically you can define the actual elements, actual values of the array variables. Okay? So you can count also, the compiler also can count how many elements exist. So actually 12 elements exist. And so this whole for loop, for sentence, is treated for the solve the average. Actually, this sentence used to calculate the average, and so this and this. So variable sigma, a value of the variable sigma is treated as a standard deviation value. Okay. And finally, using printf function, the program output deviation of each score using this calculation. Okay. So I go back to previous sheet. So deviation of score is calculated, can be calculated using this equation, this expression. Okay, this expression correspond to this program, calculation program. So I already introduced two exam programs. And I also have to introduce important point as shown here. What happens if your array index is greater than its defined size? Like this. In this case, you specify the array variables A. Its size is 3. Okay. So in this case, in the physical memory of your computer, these boxes are prepared, 3 boxes. So however, in your program, you make a program like this. So A3. So this is this sentence. I substitute the value of x. No. This sentence is value of a variable a specified by index 3 is substituted into the value of x. Okay. So, however, physically, the program prepares 3 boxes. So this corresponds to the 4th box. In fact, this box does not exist. So the actual value of x may be the unknown values. Okay. And also you can specify these sentences. In this case, is 100. It's substituted into the this box, corresponding box, this box. So using these sentences, the program actually stored 100 value into these positions of memories. So the important thing is this declaration. This sentence is theoretically not correct. So, however, the compiler cannot issue any errors. Okay. So manually, you have to check. You have to consider the size of the arrays when you specify the position of the arrays. Okay, so as I explained before, so in this case it may be execution errors. So that means the program take any strange behaviors. Okay, and also so also this in this cases the x has unknown values. So the program may be take up strange behaviors. Okay. So next I introduce multidimensional arrays. So before 2 examples, I use one-dimensional arrays. Actually, the array boxes are prepared as shown here linearly layout. Okay. So in the C program, you can define the 2-dimensional arrays. In these cases, each box are laid out plenary, like this. Okay. So in the mathematical expression, you can use a 2-dimensional variable. In this case, you have to specify the when you refer to the value of such variables, you have to specify the two indexes, row and column. In C program also you have to specify the row and column, two index, to specify the actual position of the two-dimensional array. This should show the correspondence between the C language and the mathematical expressions, one-dimensional array and the two-dimensional array and the three-dimensional arrays. Okay? So as shown here, in C language, no limitation about the dimensions. Okay? So multi-dimension, you can use array values for that. So next I'd like to introduce another program using multi-dimensional arrays. The problem to solve this program is almost the same as the previous one. There is a company. This company has two branches, and each branch has two same goods, 0 and 1. So you can find, you have the sales of such goods for each month of two branches. Using this program, you have to calculate the total sales for each good in each month separately. Okay. So in this case, you have to use multiple arrays. Multi-dimensional arrays. So two-dimensional array are used. This is the initial settings for sales about each good and each month. For example, this corresponds to the good zero, and month January. Okay, so that sales is 190. Other is almost same meaning. Okay, and using the four sentences for nesting sentence, you can calculate the total sales of each good for each month separately using this addition calculation. And finally, this program outputs the result using the nested four sentences, similar to this. So I already explained that you specify this value is actually by adding 1 against a month. Okay. So next program is a so different type of the program. However, this also uses array variables. So this program displays a histogram, a bar chart on the computer screen, okay, by entering any multiple numbers. Okay, so before the class, I prepared the actual program. So by executing this program, this is the execution result. I enter the 5 numbers, 5 data, 5, 4, 6, 7, 8. And this program outputs this bar chart like this, as a histogram. Okay? So first data is 5, second 4, third 6. So using the asterisk, you can find the size of the each data. Okay. So the program is so long. So however, the actually content that Well, however, this is not so difficult, very simple. So I don't need to explain. And final program is addition of two 3x3 matrix. Okay? C と 足す A だよ。Oh, this program calculates the addition of each element of A matrix and B matrix. Okay, for the corresponding element of C. So actually, these four sentences are not so difficult. You can easily understand. I feel sorry. So the remaining program exists. So final program is a sorting program. The sorting is so important, very useful program. So in many cases, you have to use a sorting algorithm. So there are several sorting algorithms. So quick sort, heap sort, insertion sort, and so on. So in this sheet, introduce one of them called bubble sort. Okay. So this is the initial data, original data. Order is as shown here. So this program, I want to solve the data by ascending order, in ascending order. Okay? So last data should be the maximum data. Okay? So first, this program finds the maximum data of all data, all original data. In this case, it's 89 is the maximum data. And this data should be located in this last array, last element of this array. Okay? So once you can find these values, you have to also find the next maximum number from the remaining data. Okay, in this case, the size is decreased 1. Okay, so remaining data, the maximum number is 23. So this value should be located here. So again, you have to find the third maximum data from the remaining data. So this case is 21 is the third maximum data. And this data should be located here. So in this way, you can find the maximum data gradually of the each corresponding remaining data. Finally, you can find this data. Okay. So actual algorithm is shown here. So there are several steps. So first step, so as I explained, the important thing is first you have to find the maximum data of the original data. Okay. So once you can find this data, you also apply the same algorithm to the remaining data to find the second maximum data. Okay, so the important thing is how to find the maximum data and how to locate the such data into the last position. So this algorithm explains such a calculation using the several steps, total 5 steps. Step 1, you have to compare the two adjoining data. And if the left side data is larger than right side, you have to swap. Otherwise, no action. So this case is no action. And you also check the next two adjoining data to compare them. If a left side is larger than right side, so this is true. So in this case, you have to swap these two values. Okay. So to swap these values, you have to use the another one variable to temporarily store the one of them. So in this case, this value is once stored into this temporal variable, and this become empty. So this value should be stored into this, and this value also should be stored in this. As a result, these values can be swapped. Okay. So you can find this order. So similarly, this operation apply the next adjoining two data. So finally, this maximum number is located the last position. Okay. So once you find the maximum data, you can also apply the same algorithms to the remaining data. Then you can also find the second maximum data, and you can put this value in the next last position. And this is the actual program. Okay, so this is a swap position using the nesting force entities. So this force entity corresponds to the algorithms I explained previous. So finally, this program outputs sorted data. So this is the end of the several program I have to explain. So finally, I'd like to introduce today's exercise. So many exercise problems. However, actually these are not so difficult, very simple. So first is please change the program shown in section 7 to calculate the total sales of the company in 3 months for all goods. So the program shown in section 7 calculates the total sales for each good. So however, this program calculates the total sales for both goods. Okay? Not separately. So by changing a little, you can obtain this program. Second program, it calculates the total date since 1st January of this year till today. So as shown here, you can ignore leap years. So you can also obtain this program by changing a little. The program as shown in section 3. Okay? And so this is a completely same already I introduced. So anyway, you can make this program and please check the results. And the fourth program is a sorting program. So however, so this is the sorting bubble sort program. Using this program, you can obtain the sorted data. So however, you cannot find the immediate status. So this program only output the result. So however, sorting program, the immediate status is also important to be displayed to understand this program how this program calculate sorting. So in fact, please this part into here. So you can check each status, okay, under the sorting. So however, you have to change the loop counters. So because I already used, so you have to use another loop counter, like a K, okay? And the fifth program is a calculator multiplication of two 3x3 matrices. Okay. The previous program is addition. However, this program calculates multiplication. Okay. So that's all. So the remaining time, please try to make or change the previous programs. Okay, please try.